What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Mythos, and this is Wolfbrother's Hobbies, and welcome to the show tonight. It has been a hot minute since I've done a show, and as you can see, I'm still currently in the middle of rebranding things and kind of putting some things together. Everything is kind of work in progress and ad hoc at this time. In fact, it seems like my lighting here in the corner is looking a bit dimmer than usual. So, you know, I'll have to add lighting to one of the other many things that I need to figure out as we continue to make some changes and yeah, just see how things are flowing along. Look at this fancy looking mother lover over here. Good to see you, Commodore, my brother. So good to see you, my man. How have you been? I hope you've been up to some good stuff. Hope you're doing well. And then we have a redacted message from Who Took My Dice, Ultramarines, and Beyond. Brother Steve, I hope you're doing well as well. I know you usually go to bed a little bit early on a Friday night because you got a busy Saturday morning in your life. But man, I hope you rest well. And I know you usually like to watch back on the replay. So, you know, whenever you get this message, man, I hope your weekend goes beautifully. One of the things I've been really digging lately, as you guys know, has been D&D, and even before getting back into D&D, well, still while playing D&D, but further back than my most recent campaign, just really fallen in love with owlbears, especially with Baldur's Gate 3. And one of my favorite cups, my Dark Magician Girl cup, got broken earlier. I was able to, you know, repair it, thankfully, because we found all the pieces, and you guys know how it goes. A little super glue, fix it up all good. That reminds me, I need to update Nightbot. Miss you too, brother. Always miss you. But my wife got me, when I was upset that my other coffee mug got broken, she bought me one that says, "Owlbear don't care." Oh man, I can't wait. I still have yet to play an Owlbear. I can't wait until, like, don't get me wrong, I love the campaigns I'm in now, but I can't wait until I get a chance to build another character and build myself a a druid that's going to be just owlbear all the time. I'm looking forward to that. Charles, hello, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend. I have surprisingly done very little wargaming this year. I have painted a couple of things. So you know what? We'll start us off with a poke chop like we usually do. Things that I've been working on. And even though not much of it is my traditional painting hobby, I have done a few things this year. So I think I showed you guys at the end of last year. I finished up, or maybe it been the first stream of the year. I'm not sure. But I finished up the tarantula turret. Or maybe it was almost finished. I was still working on it. Let's just say, yeah, so maybe it was a work in progress. But the tarantula actually served me really well in my game with Atlas when I took him as my White Scar Dark Angels, right? And so, yeah, I was using one of my rapier batteries from my Imperial Guard as kind of a proxy for it. You know, just because I wanted to test the unit before I bothered printing and painting one, right? As you do, you know, before you invest in something, sometimes you just want to see if it's going to work out the way you want it to. And so I used my Imperial Guard model, you know, kind of a, you know, lore thematic, you know, a lone guardsman, you know, who survived his squad and is still helping the Space Marines once they've come to save the day, you know. I used this, it went really well in-game, and so I actually printed and painted up a tarantula battery, which I'm really pleased with. So the next game, it'll be all official and stuff. And because it's got no base, I don't have to worry about matching the basing of my other armies. I went ahead and just did it in a black case and metal skeleton, because if it's all generic in the generic black case, means without any basing, I can stick it with my White Scars, my Space Wolves, my Ultramarines, and not really have to worry about it matching the army it's going to with. It's just going to be a generic piece of equipment that any of my Space Marine armies are going to be able to requisition. So that's pretty cool. Just make an owlbear and play it as a druid stuck in wild shape. Oh man, that would be so cool if my DM would allow that. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a game I can play the owlbear. Just owlbear all the time, baby. Finished 28 millimeter figures, mostly for Silver Bayonet Napoleonic Gothic horror. Very cool. I love multi-purpose items. Exactly. It's like Alton Brown always talks about, not having unitaskers in his kitchen. You know, so the more that I can use, that's gonna, you know, save me a little time that I can spread out to different areas of my hobby, different armies and stuff. That's going to be so much the better. Speaking of my White Scars, so I've been falling in love with, you know, even though I haven't done much Warhammer, towards the end of last year I fell in love with this little project I was on of restoring my White Scars army. Most of it hasn't been legal in years. Which is fine because I don't play. You know, my friends and I are often okay with playing Legends, but it hasn't been legal in years. Things like the biker veterans and stuff like that that made White Scars fun and good, in my opinion. Having them be able to, you know, drive up to, you know, big beefy units or even vehicles. Sometimes just smash them to pieces with their hammers and stuff. I got to experience that again running them as Dark Angels because their biker squads are still legal. The Black Knights, which are really cool. Who knows how long that Firstborn option is going to be there, but as long as I can play it, I'm going to play it. You know, so I felt like it was worth investing in the Dark Angels Codex for that. And I have my command squad that for my for my White Scars that wasn't quite the same, you know, but I did have a champion on a bike, and I had a medic on a bike, and I was like, you know what, let me go back and rescue one of these Firstborn biker Marines I had, and basically I just took off one of his arms and magnetized up a banner. This banner is a Custodes banner because I thought it looked cooler than the Space Marine banners I had on hand. And also because one of the nicknames for the Khan, the Great Khan, is the Warhawk. And if you've ever seen my Contemptor Dreadnought conversion, I made that a Warhawk, themed Contemptor Dreadnought. And I wanted to do kind of the same thing in the standard here. So this man is carrying, the standard of the Warhawk as he drives in. And so, yeah, I found this arm is, funnily enough, from the Intercessor kit. It's where the guy is just, I'm sorry, not Intercessor, Inceptor kit. No? Incursor kit. But basically it's just a guy who's pointing in the distance with two fingers, like attack over there. And so I kind of just chopped off the hand, and that pointing out kind of away from his body pose was perfect to just put the standard on, and it's magnetized up so I can adjust the angle of the standard I want it to. But I feel like, especially with the way these papers have kind of flow down the standard, if I put it at kind of an angle, it kind of gives a feeling of movement of this bike riding into the wind, But yeah, so finishing a standard bear for the squad, and on top of that, not only do I get a cool unit for the command squad, but like I said, this firstborn bike that had been kind of relegated to the shelf because it hasn't been legal in quite some time, it's kind of nice giving it some new life, So, got my command squad standard bearer there. Telemachus, good to see you. So that is the second hobby thing I finished for this year. And I think I still want to put some tufts down, but I finished 2 more of these Clan Snow Raven mechs for my buddy's Battletech army. If you asked me right this moment what names these 2 were, I would be lying to you because I just don't have the cards on. I have the cards around the desk if I go digging in the boxes, but I just don't know what they are right offhand. But yeah, I've got 2 of the mechs done. Boop. Oh yeah, hey, there we go. So the kind of jade green and black of the Snow Raven's colors, and I decided to give the cannon kind of a pink glow on the side there, just because I thought the pink really popped. The pink energy, kind of like Gundam, really popped out well against the dark armor and some of the green. So that's pretty cool. I also love that kind of on his wrist here, he's got like a gauntlet for 10 different needle rockets is what it looks like, which kind of reminds me of one of the wrist-mounted rocket launchers on The Mandalorian, which I thought was pretty cool. We shall call him Jimmy. And then there's this guy here, also for the Snow Ravens, that I painted up. And what was cool is, I noticed a lot of people didn't paint it this way, but I noticed on a lot of the artwork for this mobile suit, or this, I'm not sure what mobile suits are supposed, I know it's called mobile suits in Gundam. I'm not sure what they're called in Battletech. So I'm just going to say mobile suit. I'm not sure what it's called, but when I looked up the artwork for this mobile suit, a lot of them had the little skull free-handed onto the canopy where the pilot sits. And you guys know I'm scared to death of freehanding, but I decided to give this one a go. And I really just kind of, tried a steady hand. And, because the canopy is broken down, even though you can't really see it real well, it's got a couple of different flat panels that make up this shape. And so really I just kind of looked at how much of each flat panel was taken up of the shape. And kind of using the flat panels as a guideline kind of helped me draw the skull on it. Is it the best skull in the world? Probably not, but I'm actually pretty proud of how that little skull on the canopy came out. And my friend who that I'm painting this for just said, paint them up however I want. I just want the Snow Ravens as the theme. But I was like, you know what? Because it's on all the box arts and the artworks for this mobile suit, I'm going to try and freehand that skull on. So really, that was kind of me stepping outside my comfort zone, and I'm really pleased with the way it came out. I do want to add some tufts to this, so I may do that. Battle mechs. Okay, thank you. Head looks like a Highlander. Highlander, yes, that is the name that was on the card. When I was painting it up, and I actually dug out the card so that way I could look up the reference photos for painting this, and so, yes, I do remember the name Highlander. Thank you. I apologize for coughing in the microphone so much tonight, guys. I been traveling for work, and you guys know how it goes. Anytime I get onto the plane, usually like a day or so after I get off the plane, I get a little bit of that built up like chest gunk and stuff like that. And that, I'm not sick for very long, but always just like that kind of cough and a little bit of gunk seems to last a while. Probably just, from being in a tin can like an airplane, just locked up with everybody's germs on recycle. But it usually doesn't last very long. But yeah, so I apologize if there's any coughing in the microphone. Another change I wanted to do, I was noticing as I was part of Edic Beer's interview last month, no, 2 months ago in December, that the wired headset I had been using for live streams for a while sounded kind of tinny. So I hope it sounds a little better now. I do know that this headset usually has, for me in the past, had a better sound quality. And like I said, now that I'm rebranding, I want to try and just do a little better. So, I'm going to try and use this, and if necessary, maybe even try and break out one of the old microphones if I need to. Currently trying to freehand cat fur on a cat Zoontails team. Interesting. So I hear you on being scared not to screw up. Man, now, freehanding a basic shape like that skull was a little bit scary to me. Trying to do something so fine and textured like cat fur. Man, I am not jealous of you, but I will be jealous once you knock it out of the park, because I know you will. And that is literally all the hobbying I've been doing. I have been messing around with the 3D printer. It's funny because I haven't been doing much painting, but I'm still kind of messing with the 3D printer. And so I noticed that a couple of weapons for the Terminator, my White Scar Keshig Terminators, had come out kind of janky. So I found some cool White Scar weapons to print up and kind of take this place. So like this sergeant here with a very White Scars looking sword. I like the way that's coming out. So I printed up, an extra Terminator to fix the sergeant. And then, because the official Ebon Keshig that I got from Forge World, I'm using those as my Inner Circle companions in my White Scars. My White Scars / Dark Angels. They came out too small, but so the Ebon Keshig have these great big two-handed. They're naginata. They're like basically staffs with a long blade a wide blade at the end, almost like a wide sword blade at the end of the staff. And I have a unit of 5 of those I got from Forge World, all official and stuff. But since I'm running them as Inner Circle companions, which by the way, they worked out very well for in the game, and because the Inner Circle companions basically have these big two-handed great swords, and these Ebon Keshig have these great big two-handed naginata, I thought they would be a great stand-in, especially since, the Ebon Keshig are a 30k unit. There's no rules for them at 40k. I'm like, I'm going to take these great big two-handed weapons, and they're going to be my Inner Circle companions for 40k. But because you can take them in, the Forge World unit I bought came in a pack of 5, and the unit for Inner Circle companions comes between, you can take 3 or you can take 6. So I was like, well, I'm losing value if I only take 3. So I paid for 6. Like I ran them as a 6-man team last time, and I was like, well, I actually need to print that 6-man. And so I was a friend gifted me a file for some Ebon Keshig Terminators, but the test print went okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But you're not going to see much detail because just plain resin. But a couple of things here I noticed is that like it looks a lot kind of like squatter and daintier than its Terminator cousins here. Oop, let's get more centered on screen there. Yeah, it looks just, overall proportions look squatter and daintier. And also, the printed version of the Naginata also came out looking kind of dinky. Dinky being the technical term. No, I'm so sorry for coughing on the microphone again. So, I've gone back. I have scaled up the Eben Keshik Terminator to 120%. And for the weapon, I took a similar but different design of this nice, great big, Chinese broadsword style here. And I took the arms and mirrored them because even though they have these great big, the Inner Circle Companions, even though they have these great big two-handed swords, they have a strike mode and a cleave mode where you can hit multiple enemies. So I think for the sergeant of the unit, he's just going to have two of these giant things. And I think, he may not look exactly like the other Eben Keshik, but I think it'll look much cooler, than just, the way, this, like I said, this guy came out okay, but he needed some loving and some upgrading. So. You will excuse me a second again. So yeah, that reprint of that Eben Keshig Sergeant is on my plate right now, on the build plate. And yeah, like I said, that's really all the hobby I've been up to. In December, I chipped away, actually. I don't know if I've shown you guys this, but I've chipped away at my Invader ATV for my white scars, which went pretty well in game. Like, I didn't actually get to use any of its attacks because the bikes that it was driving with got wiped out immediately. But this kind of zoomed in and took an objective right away, and by kind of tucking away on an objective, it basically sat there and just grinded me points the whole game. So my victory at the end was really mostly due to how well this performed in game at just sitting and taking the objective. So he deserves for me to finish up his paint job. There's not much I need to do. I think the only thing, because I painted the gunner finally. Somewhere. I believe him to be on the table somewhere here. Okay, well, I painted the gunner, and so I just need to glue him down. The only reason I haven't is because, and this is very vain of me, I want to get, pictures of the driver before I glue the canopy down. Just to say, hey, I did paint the inside of this vehicle, Because once you glue everything down, you guys saw just a second ago, like, the underside of this gets kind of dark. So, yeah, it's just going to block out most of the detail. But I do want to capture a few of those pictures before, I lock it all down, glue it in. But, yeah. So that is another thing on the verge of being completed. It's funny that the vanity of me wanting to take some pictures is the only thing holding that one up for being done. But what can I say? I'm a vain individual. So that is what I've been up to. My poke chop. Painting wise, the next thing, a few things I'll be doing is, of course, working on that print that I have. The next couple mechs that are up for the Clan Snow Raven, I have 3 currently on my desk that needs to be painted. That need to be painted up. One is the Rifleman here, and I've seen a lot of the artwork has a kind of paint scheme I've seen that reminds me of the X-Men, where like the middle of the bodysuit and like the inside of the legs are like one stripe of color, like they're kind of striped up through the middle. And then, of course, I can do the rifle parts in the metallic and heat bloom style that I like to do. And will probably, yeah, you can kind of see that same kind of like center markings on his helmet. So that same center stripe that I'm putting up, um, there we go, that I'm putting up through his body and whatnot. I can continue on the top of his helmet too. So it'll kind of tie that scheme together. So Rifleman, I think, will be a pretty easy paint job. There's this guy, which really kind of reminds me of, gives me vibes of like Gundam or Robotech. So, I'm looking forward to painting him up. And this guy, I can't remember his name, but with that beefy chest plate, I kind of wish that I hadn't started painting the guns yet, because I think with that broad chest plate, it's going to be a good surface for me to break out the airbrush stencil and put that camo pattern on that there. And he's got some big chunky legs, so I might even be able to put some of those airbrush patterns like on the leg panels and stuff like that too. So that'll be cool. So that's what's coming up next, painting-wise. And if I feel like it, like I said, I haven't felt like painting, my own 40K stuff for a while. But if I end up feeling some motivation at some point, maybe I'll chip away a little more at this guy or finish up that ATV. I mean, honestly, I should probably just finish up the ATV just because it's right there at the finish line, Behemoth? Oh, the big beefy guy? I could see that. He looks like he could be a behemoth. The new sculpts are similar but still different than the old ones, so I'm just guessing. Well, you were dead right about the Highlander, because I do remember reading that on the card once you mentioned it. And so, behemoth, it does look like it could be a behemoth, Luckily, I do have the cards around here somewhere for when I want to sort it out. So that's what's all on the painting desk right now, aside from a big mess of stuff that has just accumulated over the last year or so of painting. It's funny, I haven't been like the game itself hasn't interested me in a while. Like, I just haven't had the urge to play, and I haven't even been paying attention to the GW news or anything in a couple of months now, which is a shame. Like, I kind of lost my interest right as the codex that I was waiting for the Astra Militarum came out. Like, right as that came out, I'm just like, I'm feeling more of card games right now. So, but I am interested because I have a game coming up. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but like I said, I've got the chest gunk, the coffin fits, and stuff like that. So to play it safe, we're going to move it to next weekend. But Freak and I were just chatting, and he said that he could really use a game. And I was like, man, I could use a game too. So next weekend, it's going to be a great weekend for me. In the morning, I'm going to go play some cards. So on Saturday, my brother works, around 1 o'clock or 1:30 on Saturdays. So what we like to do is we like to go meet up for breakfast pretty early in the morning at like 8 in the morning. We have me, Atlas, and my brother, Darklight, Razzie, will go get some breakfast, have some coffee, and just hang out together, chat, spend some time together, as friends do. And then we'll go straight from there to the card shop when it opens up. And we go in pretty much right at opening, and we just, we find something to purchase, you pay where you play, and kind of buy the privilege of being able to spend some time there and playing some cards. And we play there for a few hours, and then, I mean, honestly, we've been playing right up until the last minute, to where I still get my brother to work on time, but it gets a little close sometimes, just because we're just having a good time, you know. We're trying to be responsible, of course, but we are having a good time. Uh, Let me know. By the way, I forgot to ask you guys what you think. The new name, Wolfbrother Hobbies. I think that one had the most votes in the chat from when I did my update video, and the new logo and all that kind of stuff. Guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, you can definitely tell, like the rebranding and stuff like that, still a work in progress. Obviously, I need to do things like update Nightbot to not say Frosted Fist anymore and stuff like that. But we're working on it. We're working on it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Working on a video coming up. Wolfbrother Hobbies, you know how I feel. Good to see you, Thomas, my brother. Good to see you. Man, I am excited. Hellworks has been putting together a surprise for the christening of the rebranded channel, Wolfbrother Hobbies. I really appreciate that, brother. And I can't wait to show that off to you guys. It's going to be so cool. I like it. Super inclusive to this whole new novel, not just the new chapter. I appreciate that. Working on 15mm goblins and hobgoblins, trying something different. Over the primer, hitting each type, archers, blowguns, etc., with one speed paint over most of the figure. Okay, cool. And then hitting most of it with the one color, and then painting in your details from there. Got your 6. You always do, brother. I appreciate it. And thank you, Charles. Do I need to make new voiceovers for you? Brother, I always love your voiceovers, man. So they would definitely be welcome if inspiration strikes you. And not only is next weekend, the fun doesn't stop there, hanging out with the boys next week. 2 or 3 dabs of color to finish. That makes sense, especially, like, I bet you could finish off a whole bunch of goblins and hobgoblins that way. Do the main color, then you come across with a couple of things like, you know, your bows, you know, your weapons and stuff like that, maybe any leathers you need to. Yeah, I could see it. 2 or 3 dabs of color. So then I'm hanging out with Atlas and Razzie until about 1:30 when my brother's got to be at work. Then after that in the afternoon, Freak is going to come over, and we are going to place a little skirmish, 500 points of Warhammer, which is why I've got Orks on the mind right now. Orks. And yeah, we're gonna break out the Imperial Fists and the Orks, and we're both gonna be rusty, and we're just gonna have a good time. And then if there's time, which, you know, we're playing just a small 500-point game, so after our little 500-point game, he's interested in learning Yu-Gi-Oh as well. So, you know, I've been collecting starter decks over the years, and so yeah, I've told him he'll have his choice. And of course, you know, I'm not going to be one of those people who, you know, you get a starter deck and then I'm going to beat you up with this deck that I've been building for years. No, I'm going to take another one of the starter decks and show him the game. Tell Freak to play Conquest. Low rolls are better. Oh yeah, that is something he's been into since over the last year. He's been doing more Conquest. In fact, he's getting one of his neighbors into Conquest as well. So. YouTube didn't notify you. I'm so sorry, my brother. But I'm glad that you're here now. Ork or Orc? Inquiring minds must know. Ork with a K. Ork with a K. It'll be a 40K Orc. Tenny ordered the Champions of Slaanesh Army box through my local game shop today. Nice. Very, very cool. Champions of Slaanesh. That'll be cool. I think while they could go a little bit far sometimes for my tastes, I still think that the Emperor's Children are probably my favorite of the Chaos factions. So Freak is a crack resin dealer now. He is not only resin, um, but he is also he bought a brand new FDM printing machine, and it's really nice. It is much faster. It's got one of those internal cameras. It's got the self-leveling bed. He got a pristine new machine, and so if you've been in our Discord or if you've seen him on Facebook, you may know he printed out this giant like Mecha Godzilla for one of his friends to give, for his son-in-law to give one of his friends for birthday. Gamers with Coffee. Hello, Greg and Ashley. Greg, I don't know if you saw my Instagram or Facebook post, but I was singing praises of your tea. For anyone who doesn't know, I'll say it again here. Gamers with Coffee not only sells coffee, and I highly recommend their coffee. The 6-bean blend is my favorite coffee from Gamers with Coffee, but they also sell teas now, and they even do gift cards too. And I ordered some of their English breakfast tea because I ran out of the English breakfast teas I was drinking. I'm finally I finally finished off all of my PG tips and Yorkshire tea, and so I was like, I was going to order some more, and I was like, you know what? Gamers with Coffee has an English breakfast tea, and so I grabbed some of that, especially since they were super kind and gifted me a gift card when they started doing gift cards. I was one of the lucky people to get one of their gift cards, and so I definitely went on over and picked up some of their English breakfast tea, and I have been really enjoying that a lot of mornings. And I got to say, it's been helping me not to reach for the third or fourth cup of coffee most days, so it's very good. Charles says, I was in another life very deep into Yu-Gi-Oh! Really? I stopped about the time the black cards came out. Actually, that's about where I stopped too. We played with this. They're called Xyz cards. We played with the black Xyz cards for a while. I think they were out for about a year or two. When we stopped, and it wasn't because of anything in the game. I know a lot of people like to say that these kinds of cards ruin the game, or this mechanic ruined the game. But for me, it was just circumstance. We used to have a card night over at my house every Friday, and just like we were all playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For years. Every Friday night was card night. And then as people's work schedules and stuff changed, different members left the group, joined the group, and yeah, just the group dynamic changed several times. And so, we had a different Friday night group for a while, or not completely different, but it wasn't all the same members, And some of the newer members weren't into Yu-Gi-Oh! And but they were into Magic the Gathering, and several of us had played Magic before we got into Yu-Gi-Oh! So we went back to Magic the Gathering for a while. And then while playing at our local game shop, a couple of us were playing a large Chaos game, which is a giant multiplayer game of Magic. And a couple of us who were out first, me and one of my best friends, Daz, we killed each other like first or second round. And with the 20-person game, it's going to be a long game, so we had time to kill. We walked around the little game store, and there were wargaming demos on a couple of the tables, and they volunteered to teach us how to play. And thus began, my 8-year obsession with Warhammer. Like the show's name, Mythos. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hello, Ashley. I still have most of my stuff. Lots of different deck types. Charles, my friend, I would love to talk about that. Please, if you're inclined to talk about it, I'd love to know what kinds of decks you had, and what some of your favorites were, that kind of thing. I've got like 8 decks in the deck box right now. So also, we because like you play the same game for so long, you want to keep it fresh, and one of the easiest ways to keep it fresh is start a new deck and have your choice, when you're playing different people. Of course, I have my favorites. My Cyber Dragons are my number 1 favorite deck. From the first generation, Red Eyes Black Dragon was my favorite. In fact, Red Eyes Black Dragon Fusions was my favorite. So like Black Skull Dragon, Meteor Black Dragon, all those were early favorites and stuff. gonna have to check out the lineup. Oh yeah, well let me make that easy for you. If anyone is interested in checking out any of the Gamers with Coffee, coffees and teas, like I said, I highly, highly recommend them. Boom! Check them out. Gamerswithcoffee.com, right there. It is posted in the chat if you guys want to check out their stuff. I absolutely definitely think they're worth checking out. And how could you go wrong? Because they have their roasters do it fresh. It is ground within days of your order. It's not pre-ground months pre-ground months ahead of time like a lot of places do it. So you're getting fresh coffee, fresh roasted, fresh grinds, and then it comes your way. So definitely, I like what they do, and I've been enjoying their teas as well. One deck everyone hates is a stall deck. I shut off your graveyard, keep removing your traps and spells until I get the right 4 cards in my hand, and then it's an OTK. Oh, okay. So that is my wife's favorite playstyle, is the control stall deck. Hers is specifically, she calls it the RFP, remove from play deck, but it is mostly built off of Macrocosmos and Dimension Prison, and so Dimensional Fissure, yeah, and shuts off your opponent's graveyards, removes everything from the game. And the crazy thing about it is, a lot of your higher mechanics like synchro summoning and stuff like that require you to send materials to the graveyard to do this kind of special summoning. So essentially, she shuts off the main mechanic for a lot of special summon heavy decks by not having a graveyard available. It is pretty cool to watch her lock people down. As someone who doesn't like having control taken away from me, my wife and I have a policy. We have successfully been married for 18 years, and part of that success is that we've learned not to duel each other in card games. We don't magic each other. We don't play Yu-Gi-Oh with each other, which is crazy because I get the addiction and I want to play all the time. And I'm like, babe, would you like to play some Yu-Gi-Oh? And she's like, absolutely not. We have a rule. Because congrats on 18 years. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm surprised I've been allowed to live this long. I know I could be a pill to deal with. Thank you. But so, as someone who doesn't like to have control taken away from me of things, like I get frustrated by that, that lockdown strategy that she loves so much. She does that with remove from play, and then ice barriers was another archetype. The dragons of the ice barrier, the sage of the ice barrier, the cards like that. So those two archetypes between remove from play and between remove from play and the ice barriers and stuff like that. And she has a couple other decks that do something similar, like her Dark Lords deck. She has a very control heavy play style, and me, I don't like having control taken away from me. I like to go in, and I don't have a ton of finesse. I like to brute force a lot of things. I like to, I do these combos that get the great big creatures out there and tear it. It's my playstyle is referred to in Yu-Gi-Oh as board breaking. Where I break a lot of my opponent's stuff and then go in for the kill. And our playstyle gets on each other's nerves because when she's got the lockdown going, oh, different dimension, absolutely. That was another big part of her remove from play strategy. So yeah, so like when she puts the lockdown on, there's like nothing I can do, right? So it's like, oh no, my combos are just stuck in my hand. And then my playstyle gets on her nerves because when I do the board breaking, it's just like she's gone through all of this subtlety and stuff to set up a board, and then I do the board breaking stuff and just break everything down. And so our playstyles are frustrating to each other. So again, part of our successful marriage has been we love dueling and playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but not against each other. All right, drive safely, babe. Love you too. Hammer! Exactly. So she is the dom to your sub. See, I don't make a very good sub because, like I said, I can't stand having control ripped from me. It's like, I love a strong woman. Now will absolutely climb them like a tree if given the opportunity. Mythos does like uppies, but Mythos does not like, having control taken away from him. So, there's your too much information for the night. Um, so I'm excited to teach the game to Freak, get him addicted. What's really cool is that right now, those of you who have taken a break from Yu-Gi-Oh, if you ever consider getting back in, right now is considered one of the best times ever to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh because I'm going to feel kind of old saying this. Back in my day, but like in the older days of Yu-Gi-Oh, structure decks were fun if you were playing against another structure deck or starter deck, but they were not good cards. There were not good cards in the deck. A lot of them were had a lot of filler cards. Like, your average attack monster that you could summon without what's called a normal summon, without needing any special mechanics or tributing. A very normal attack for a normal summon is 4 stars or low, is around 1800, 1900. There's even a few 4 stars that are 2000 attack power. Well, a lot of structure decks and starter decks used to come out with very weak attack power cards that were 800, 1400 with no effects. And hey, Richard Smith, my friend, so good to see you. Checking in because the dog just woke me up barking. Big loves. Thank you so much, brother. I hope you're able to get back to sleep without too much trouble. And hey, maybe your puppo just wanted you to step in and say hi. I appreciate you. Rest well, my brother. Well, these days, the structure decks are actually made to be pretty good. The last at least 3 or 4 structure decks, most recently, Blue Eyes came out, and it's strong, right off the bat. You can, a lot of people are doing what I'm doing right now, buy 3 copies, smash them together in a way that you like, and you've got a deck to run with. And they have all been, and I say 3 copies because the max number of cards of any one card you're allowed to have in a deck is 3 of that card. And so that's how, consistency in a lot of card games is you have multiple copies of the same card, right? But there's usually a limit. In Yu-Gi-Oh, it's 3. So I bought 3 copies of the Blue Eyes deck, and apparently the last 3 or 4 decks you've been able to do that. So for 3 $10 to $12 decks, you can have yourself a playable deck that's strong enough to go play with other people in comic shops and stuff like that. So this one is Blue Eyes. The last one was called the Fire Kings. Apparently that one was pretty strong and able to, again, buy 3, hang. A lot of them come with good staples now. Before that was called the Fallen of Albaz. The Albaz structure deck was really good. I can't remember which one came before, but the last 4 ones have been solid enough to just play right out the gate. Now, of course, again, for consistency, you want to buy multiple copies of that box, So, again, even at $10, $12 a piece, you're going in, $30. Let's say you go for the full gambit, you want to go for 3 of each card, and so you get 3 of these $12 starter decks. So that's, for a little over $30. A little over $30, you've got yourself a very viable and playable deck. Hollow foils, dude. That's one of the things I love about Yu-Gi-Oh is the holographic foil cards are so beautiful. Staples. Are we doing paperwork? Okay, so staples are cards that you might want to run in just about any deck. They're something everybody uses because they're so good. In Warhammer, I think the phrase is auto take. Every army needs this, as an auto take, So yeah, in Yu-Gi-Oh, they're called staples. I've got some cute decks too, some not so cute. my Wolf Dog deck centered on the Behemoth. Very nice. That king of all animals. 2700 and Mad Dog of Darkness. Gene Warped War. Oh my gosh, these are all classics. Mad Dog of Darkness, Gene Warped Warwolf. Try saying that 5 times fast. Hyenas, those are all very cool. Gene Warped Warwolf was one of the first, not the first, but one of the first 4-star 2000 attack power cards with no drawbacks out there. I remember that. That was really cool. Mad Dog of Darkness. That brings back some memories too. What's really cool. Okay, now I'm going to have a really nerdy moment. I apologize for my nerdiness ahead of time. Nope. Do. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story for Mad Dog of Darkness. What's really cool is that there is lore to some of the cards that only exist, like, this is one of those things that never had any external media, right? Like, there is no lore for cards. Well, not no lore, but there's very little lore for cards that exist outside of the cards themselves, like, books or comic books or stuff like that. A lot of this came before those things happened. But there are some cards where lore is told through the artwork and flavor text of these cards. Uh, okay. Sounds like a chaotic Space Wolf deck. It kind of is. It kind of is. I was buying 2 or 3 of the big boxes. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the big boxes are cool. Although my brother Razzie really did that with one of the recent boxes where because when we were playing before, none of us we were working. Like, none of us were really making much money, and so he always wanted to be one of those guys that open a whole box. And now that he's got a better job, he did that not long ago, just by setting aside X amount from each paycheck. And then when one of the new box sets came out, he bought the whole box set. And he got to be one of those guys to open up a whole box, and he absolutely had a good time with it. Okay, articles and art. We're going to go Chrome, select Outstanding Dog Marin. Okay. Alright, cool. I've messed up somewhere along the way and horribly split up the screen. But you know what? Now's not the time to fix it. Okay, so you see this card here. This handsome boy, the Outstanding Dog Marin. He looks like a very sweet dog, right? Almost one of those toy dogs that, ride in the purses of, lovely ladies everywhere. Well-to-do ladies. Okay? Would you believe that same dog, this cute little fluffy dog, is also the same dog for the Mad Dog of Darkness? Isn't that crazy? And you can see here, okay, Outstanding Dog Marin, take a look at his collar here. And if I don't trust him. He's too cute. He wants your soul. He becomes the Mad Dog of Darkness. And you can tell because he's wearing the exact same collar as Marin and has the M for Marin. And even sadder, if you look at the text, he used to be a normal dog who played around in a park, but was corrupted by the power of darkness. Now, what happened for him to be corrupted by that power of darkness was, and I forget what this card's name is. I can't remember the name of this card because I'm only seeing the artwork. But you can see here, there's lost dog posters up in the park, and you can see Marin is over here, and his owner is looking for him, and they just barely missed each other at the park. You know, if Marin got lost, his owner could never find him again, and in one of the other texts, that he becomes the Mad Dog of Darkness because he ends up, lost for so long, and he gives in to sadness and despair giving to anger and hate and the feeling of being abandoned, and eventually is filled with so much of the feeling of rejection and resentment that he becomes the Mad Dog of Darkness. So I think that's just a really neat lore bit that starts off with a sweet puppy and becomes this really kind of badass Mad Dog of Darkness. So I apologize for nerding out, but I when I learned about the lore and that they were all the same dog, I thought that was really interesting. The end of it, and the end of Anubis too. The end of Anubis. I blame Cheetos. Okay, this is another card that Charles mentioned. The end of Anubis, pretty cool. When this card's face up on the field, all effects of spell, trap, and monster cards that target a card in the graveyard and activate in the graveyard are negated. Ooh, perfect for that lockdown kind of deck. Also, actually, that would be really good against the modern meta too. One of the ways the game has shifted over the years is with the advent of something called hand traps. So, hand traps are basically cards that that can be sent directly from your hand to the graveyard. You never have to place it on the board to play it. You discard it, and in the graveyard it activates its ability. It's really powerful for things called like Effect Veiler or Ash Blossom of the Joy of Spring, where basically they're shutting down cards on your turn just by discarding a card. But this, if you can't activate cards in the graveyard, that kind of shuts those plays down and kind of makes you immune to hand traps for a while. That is actually pretty cool. So even though this is kind of a classic card, that would be really good, I think, for protection in the modern meta. Very nice, Charles. I may have to side deck a few of those in the future if I feel like I'm eating too many hand traps. It's like, fine, none of us can play hand traps now. I like that. Thank you for showing me that. Plus, it's kind of cool. You guys know I love purple and pink as colors. You may see from the new logo there. I love those colors. And actually, kind of on the end of Anubis, kind of like the color transition there on his chitin there in the artwork. It's kind of the same as on my logo there. I like it. I dig it. Very cool card. I blame Cheetos. Cheetos is why he became the Mad Dog of Darkness. And something I want to debut here in the chat. Of course, It doesn't compare at all to the amazing thing that surprise that Brother Thomas is working on, and I can't wait to see that. But of course, along with the rebranding, which like I said, I struggled with for a while, but I'm happy that we're doing it now, and I'm happy that I decided to continue on this journey. I'm really enjoying being back here and talking with you guys again. Where did I put that? Raz Atlas. There we go. This will be my first time debuting it. So far, I've only shown this to 3 people so far. And it is much further back than I realized. You've been missed. I missed your face as well. I like the rebrand. Suits you well. Thank you so much, my brother. Don't you guys hate when you forget where you put stuff? There it goes. There we go. Boop. So I mentioned earlier where you guys could buy up some delicious coffee and teas. And while I will definitely miss the old coffee cup, if anyone's interested, just with the rebranding of the show and whatnot, there is going to be, some new coffee cups and stuff around here. I think the logo on the coffee cup looks really nice against the black of the coffee cup there. So if anyone's interested, feel free to get you one of the new coffee cups. And of course, there's a few other things too. Necklaces, hoodies, t-shirt. So I've got my Stay Frosty on the back of this shirt. And then, Stay Frosty on the back of the shirt, and then flip on the front of the shirt, got the logo. Where's the link for the coffee cup? Let me grab that link for you. Boop. Yeah, if anyone is interested, you can get you a coffee cup here. You need to wear that hat backwards like Triple H. Man, I really wish I could find... So yeah, if anyone's interested, like I said, I'm not pushing this to make any money off the new stuff, but I just thought with the rebranding, having some, some cool stuff to go with it, t-shirt, coffee cup, stuff like that would be pretty cool. So if anyone's interested, please, by all means, check it out. It's funny that you mentioned wanting to, I should wear it like Triple H. One of the cool things, and of course Triple H has, lots of money to get stuff custom done, but I've noticed every once in a while Triple H will have like, the Triple H logo across the brim of his hats when he wears it backwards, or when he wears it backwards across the back of it. And I'm like, man, I can't find any good newspaper boy caps with like nerdy kind of logos or stuff embroidered on, and I would love to have that done. I need to find somewhere, because like most places, if they do hats, they'll do like baseball caps, or like unfortunately like Teespring, I couldn't even get a baseball hat with the Wolfbrother logo on it. It was the only option was like a beach style hat, and I'm like, that's not me. But it would be cool to be able to get like a nerdy hat, with something like right here, on stuff like that. I think that would be neat. I need to find a company that'll do that custom without breaking the bank. That would be cool. Yeah, I want a Wolfbrother Hobbies hat too. I just don't know where to get it done. But I will do some looking into it, and we will see if we can get us some hats, good sir. And if anybody knows of a good vendor to use for hats, by all means, let me know. I am going to just see how I like the look. You know, we'll see. Promise a suggestion about doing this the Triple H way. I don't think that was quite me. So a newsboy Wolfbrother Hobbies hat. That would be cool. That would be cool. I just got to find somewhere that would do it. But that's what the Googles is for, right? Google teaches us many things. And all of it believable, by the way. Anything you learn on Google, you can take that to the bank. Oh, I know you said you have the machine to add like embroidering and stuff like that to things. I didn't know it does something that fancy. I may have to commission you, good sir. Okay, now my hat's crooked. It's bothering me. Okay, now I believe it to be less crooked. So yeah, a couple of things to take a look at. Okay, I wanted to go over my I know I've talked a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm making custom patches. Very nice. Yeah, let me know about some commission prices too, my brother. Make sure you get prop newspapers too. Oh man, you know I've tossed a few newspapers in my day. Um, so since my family and we stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh around kind of the beginning of the Xyz period, you know, the black cards. And that kind of era, you know, the up to synchro era is called Edison format, which we're going to keep a couple of decks of that era because we were playing some of those games, and I still like the vibe of those games because there's a lot more back and forth. Granted, there are sometimes you just draw the perfect hand and you can OTK someone, but you know, there's a lot more back and forth in the Edison era decks. There's not a lot of one card starters where you go through full combo and just do the thing. There's more back and forth setting up plays, you know, even something as simple as setting up a card heat now so that way I can synchro another creature next turn, you know, that kind of thing. So we like the kind of more back and forth style of it. Don't get me wrong, I love the new format too. I've brought my Cyber Dragons deck up to the modern era and play it in a very modern way, and freaking love it. That link's not working. Let me. Thank you for letting me know. Let me see if I can fix that. So we're keeping a couple of Edison era decks. We're doing a couple of brand new modern decks. Like I said, I put together one of the new Blue Eyes decks, and even though it is like playable in public right out of the box. Eventually, I will side deck the Primite engine, which is one of the more top meta decks. So sometimes we, no, not Shopify, Teespring, not Shopify. Um, what is... Not start creating... Where's the search function? Search. So apologize for the silence. I am terrible at multitasking. Do. Fine, continue. I had an all normal monster deck. Interesting. Um, is it because it's under my store? I've never had this problem before. I swear, baby, this never happens. Let me try this again. Again, I really apologize for all the silence. Let me see if it'll let me check out on my telephone now. Yes. Okay. Switch account. Wolfbrother Gaming, maybe. Okay. That's weird. It seems to be letting me check out. I'm not sure what's going on. Sorry for the trouble, guys. Anyways, what I was saying is that if I ever get to where I want to compete top of the meta, or if my friends build any top of the meta decks, I'll be able to side deck in the Primite engine into my Blue Eyes deck, and I think Primite plus the new Blue Eyes system has been also one of the top tier things. Of course, Primite is a very expensive engine to run at this time. Some of the cards go for about $80 a piece, which is why I'm not going out of my way to buy that engine now. But I'm just saying, if we ever get to a point in our group where we're getting more competitive, and one of the things I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is if there is ever an expensive card, whereas Magic the Gathering, when you get an expensive card, they get more expensive over time because they cycle out of that set. And when they cycle out, they stop producing it. And once they stop producing it, it becomes rarer and rarer as time goes on. But what they do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is cards that are expensive, it's very temporary because it's almost guaranteed that same card that's expensive now will get reprinted several more times down the road. And so even though this card may be $80 now, as time goes on, it'll probably be just a couple of bucks because of the way reprints work. It goes from being a rare material to, just a much less rare one. And some of them, many of them, will even be printed in common rarity, which make it even cheaper. Often they're many things that are printed common rarity go from being expensive to $1. So that's one of the things I love is that. As time goes on, the game gets more affordable. So you're really only paying that extra money for, kind of like in Warhammer, you're paying that extra money for what's new and powerful right this minute, So if you're not being a tournament topper, just simply wait a few months and it'll get, reprinted and it won't be a big deal. So yeah, that's my plan. If I ever want to do some upper tier play again, playing in cards. If I ever enroll in a tournament or anything like that, that would be the plan. Or if ever, like I said, my friends, family decide they want to kick it up a notch and try and go top of the meta, that can be my one top of the meta deck. So I've got the Blue Eyes deck. Cyber Dragons is my favorite. I've got a Red Eyes Black Dragon deck with very fusion heavy. I've got a Black Rose Dragon deck that is mostly plants. That was my favorite Synchro deck. And then my other Synchro deck I have is X-Sabers. And then I have a couple of just fun decks. I've got one called KMP, which is 3 different archetypes. That include the M is for Machina. The K is for, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like the bamboo samurai striking dummies. Can't remember the name for them. But yeah, it's and then there's a little bit of a plant tension. But yeah, that was a fun archetype back in the day. It was the KMP deck. And then I've got one that's like the Sun and Moon deck, where it's it's kind of like the setting of the sun. Once you synchro summon the Sun Dragon once and the Moon Dragon once, every time one goes to the graveyard, it automatically summons the other one. So it's like a night-day cycle. And so once you got both of those summoned, your opponent never really gets rid of those monsters because they keep cycling like night and day. It's not a very strong deck at all, but it was fun to kind of put together. Oh, and Armed Dragons from the GX era. I really like the way the Armed Dragons look. So yeah, I've got 8 decks that I've accumulated over the years, and the addiction is there. I'm ready to build more. I'm working on a Slifer deck now. I don't think it's going to be as strong as any of the current decks. It'll probably hang there with kind of as far as power level goes, our mid-tier or Edison level decks. But I've decided that the engine I want to use with the Slifer the Sky Dragon deck is Cyber Dragons, because you can cycle more Cyber Dragons onto the field with some of their engine, and cycle 3 on the field, whether it's using Hers or Core or Naxter that just populate Cyber Dragons onto the field. You have 3, you tribute for one of the Egyptian gods, and you bring out Slifer the Sky Dragon. And then it could be some pretty cool combos that way. And then one of the problems I had with playing Slifer the Sky Dragon in the past when we used to play is that by the time you cycle through and have 3 monsters to tribute for an Egyptian god, is your hand would be empty. Well, Slifer the Sky Dragon gets his attack power from how many cards you have in your hand. And so if you've emptied your entire hand pulling off this combo to summon a god, um, this dragon god, well, you don't have any attack power because you've used up all your cards. What's cool about the Cyber Dragon combo is it pulls pieces from the deck or the graveyard to pull off this combo, and certain things like when Cyber Dragon Hers goes to the graveyard, you pull a Cyber Dragon to your hand. So that's boom, instantly 1,000 extra attack I'll have just from that. Or if you normal summon Cyber Dragon Core, as soon as you play that, you get to bring a Cyber Dragon spell to your hand. So again, you're getting another 1,000 attack. So these cards are doing the thing where I get to populate enough cards on the field to tribute summon. But they're also adding cards into my hand to make it happen. So I like this strategy more. Cyber Dragon's always been my favorite archetype. Since it's come out, obviously Red Eyes was first, but since Cyber Dragons came out, it was my favorite archetype. And I think it's kind of cool taking this engine that I know so well as my favorite archetype and blending it in with this Slifer the Sky Dragon set I want to put together in the future. Excuse me one second. It's okay. I'm kidding. I'm not worried about it. I'm joking. It's all good, babe. It's all good. So yeah, I'm excited for that coming up. And then, of course, we want to do a couple of GOAT era decks. And if you're wondering what GOAT format is in Yu-Gi-Oh, that is the classic original Yu-Gi-Oh. Anything that comes in up to 2004. So all of original Yu-Gi-Oh dual monsters. Because at the time, they had multiple Yu-Gi-Oh games. And so like the Yu-Gi-Oh card game was just called Dual Monsters at the time. And yeah, so everything that covers original Yu-Gi-Oh up to 2004 is the format for GOAT. And so each of us are making very old school GOAT decks, which I'm really looking forward to. I've chosen Buster Blader and Dark Paladin for mine. My brother is playing a Shinato deck, which is a ritual monster from the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, used by Kaiba and Mokuba's half-brother, Noah. And Atlas is... Interestingly, he picked a deck to base around that's not a boss monster. He picked the Celtic Guardian, so I'm interested in how he's going to make a deck revolving around Celtic Guardian. But apparently he knows. Like, as soon as he said, this is the card I'm going to make my deck around, he's like, boo. Oh, and because GOAT is the very first format, it is super cheap right now. He ordered his whole deck for $18, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, looking forward to that. I think it's very cool to have these timestamp decks, Edison era, when we were all just doing synchros, GOAT format, when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a brand new game, we were just playing dual monsters. And of course, now at, the current power level of the current meta, things are just super fast. Games are usually over within the first 3 turns, which is kind of cool because at least if you guys ever get your butt kicked in Warhammer, and you're like, man, this game took 3 or 4 hours and I just got my ass kicked the whole time. At least if you're having a one-sided game, Yu-Gi-Oh, it's over in about 10 minutes, You're not suffering through that long. Just kind of, just ease, don't clench, boom, you're done in 10 minutes. When you're getting railed in Warhammer, though, man, that can just feel like it's being drug out sometimes. Eventually, and that's why sometimes, me and the bros will sometimes be like, if we're feeling like we're a little too far ahead, we mean this in a very non-egotistical way, but if we see the other ones not having a good time anymore because maybe it's the dice rolls or whatever, but things have gone so badly for the other person, we'll be like, I'm sorry, brother. You want to just stop here? We can re-rack and start another one. You know, but I definitely understand sometimes, man. It's a rough game. And that's why one of the things I like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the modern game is so fast that, hey, it's no big deal. We'll finish this step, we'll start another one. You know, it'll only take a few minutes. So, that's pretty cool. Back to Orks. So, being that Freak has been out of the game a shade longer than I have, I'm bringing. He chose Orks as the army he wants to face off against, and I have brought a. That is weird. When I click the link, that is not what's coming up at all. I wonder if there's like a language setting somewhere on the website that can be adjusted or something. Hey, if anyone else, and I'm not expecting. Oh, okay. I'm guessing you got the language thing sorted out. I was about to say that was weird looking at it, just seeing the that the website was in Arabic all of a sudden. I will be doing a video on my koala deck. Nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to put in a short or regular video. I am so looking forward to that, my brother. I plan on doing a few deck profile videos as well, yeah, I'm excited to see that come up. And I'm looking forward to doing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos on the channel. Like that's pretty cool. Just like deck profile videos, strategy videos, kind of like the way I hyper focus on Warhammer videos a lot. My hyper focus has been on like Yu-Gi-Oh! Strategy videos and stuff lately, which is pretty crazy. But I guess that's part of my ADD. Is, you know, when I get interested in something, I just hyper fixate and just spam the crap out of those videos. So, Orks. So, yeah, I wanted to put together, you know, a list that would be, you know, fun to play and then possibly fun to play against. It was in my setting. Okay, cool. I'm glad that worked out, Ashley. Thank you so much. Pull up my new recruit list. Has anyone else had trouble with BattleScribe lately? It stopped updating for me, and I've been using a new app in its place called New Recruit. It seems pretty user-friendly, more user-friendly than to set up than BattleScribe, so I didn't really have any trouble with it, but the how to use BattleScribe is one of the most popular videos on my channel, so if you guys ever think you would benefit from a guide for the app New Recruit, it's another free Warhammer list building app, just like BattleScribe. If you guys think it would be any beneficial to any of you, let me know, and I might put together a video for it. So, Warhammer, create list. No, I don't want to create list. I want to look up my lists. Uh-oh. Where did all my lists go? This is concerning. I bet you it updated. Maybe I need a video on how to use this app, because all of my lists seem to have disappeared. Well, that's scary. Well, I was going to share my list with you guys, but it seems my list has disappeared. We'll get it figured out. Hey, if I need to make a brand new list from scratch, I've got a week now, and it's 500 points. How tough could it be, right? I do know that I am taking a big 20-man brick of my oh my gosh, it's been so long since I played Orks. The Wild Orks. Oh my gosh. I'm having a 404 file not found with my brain right now. Okay, well, we're going to build this list now because apparently my brain has just had a dumb. And if you guys are thinking, ain't no brand new to it, your brain's been had a dumb. You're probably right. But don't tell me that. That hurts my feelings. We're going to name this list Orks with 3 exclamation points. Because just like the Orks say, more DACA is better. You know, more exclamation points going to make this louder. And by making it louder, this is going to be a better list. Create list. 500 points of Orks. All right, we need battle size. Well, this will be up to 1,000 points because we're only playing 500. Boop. We are. New Recruit have a website? Because maybe I could do this with you guys. New Recruit Army Builder 40K. Hey, I can bring this up on screen and do it with you guys, I think. Articles and art. Oh yeah, I jacked up my screen at some point. I think we can fix this though. Even though I didn't bother to learn to fix it earlier. I know this is exciting, watching me adjust my screen frames. I apologize. But we're making it work, guys. We're making it work. And we'll cinch this in a little bit more on both sides. Cinch it in from the bottom up. Okay, and then we can probably expand that just a little more. All right, hey, it almost looks like I know what I'm doing. I really don't, but I'm sure you all can see that. That's why I said it almost looks like I do. All right, so you can see here it's got a couple of things. You can synchronize your lists, so theoretically, I should be able to import this list that we make tonight onto my phone. Build your lists. It's got BattleScribe compatibility because some of the team that worked on this New Recruit website also worked on BattleScribe before. So, you know, it's some of the same programmers. Player profiles, it's free, of course. It is good for tournament play. So lots of easy stuff here. Makes good, New Recruit easy to use and fun to use. Oh my goodness, do I want a dark theme, classic theme, dragon theme, Santa theme, starship theme? Of course, we've got to go dragon. All right, you can see here. We are going to scoot this over a bit so y'all can see what's going on here. All right. So we're going to click on Warhammer 40K. We're going to create a list. We're going to pick Xenos Orks. List name. My orcs have always been led by War Boss Rex, so we're going to call this one Rex's Rekkas. Point limit will only be a meager 500 points. Or as we say, 500. Going to add force, little button up. Underneath this, there'll be a button that just says add force and create list, which is what we're doing now. All right, and we've got all the options off to the side. We are going to be taking my man War Boss Rex, which is a beast boss. And I don't think I had any points for him. Battle size. I'm going to expand this so y'all can see kind of off to the side what I'm doing here, because it's kind of a wide screen. So over here on the other far side, when I click on options of what I can do, you can see here. So I clicked on battle size on the far left, and it's giving me these options on the far right. So 500 points is within the 1,000 point limit. Of course, we're gonna move this up so you can still see this guy's face. All right, detachment. I think the Warhorde is the one that's the sustained hits in combat. Nice. That's the one I always enjoyed playing. We're not even going to take a look at the others right now, but maybe in the future. So we want to take our war boss, or our beast boss. Boom. Oh, actually, I've got two by accident. We want to take a look at him, though. So he's got the Snag-a-Claw. He's got the Choppa. He's got the Invulnerable Save. He's got the 6+ Feel No Pain. Leader. He's got Devastating Wounds. He's got Anti-Monster and Anti-Vehicle, which is cool. And he's got Rapid Fire. Not that it matters when you're shooting on a 6+. Oh, actually, his ballistic skill's 4+. It's actually pretty. Oh, that's right, because he typically keeps a grot on his shoulder. That's right. Are you breaking it again? I broke it so that way you could see it a little better. Oh, no, it is kind of broken here in the middle. Okay, so apparently when I do new recruit in the future, I just need to get rid of the overlay because it's a big old screen. Okay, well, we're going to get off of him. Alright, so I'm taking the beast boss. I'm taking... we're going to go back to the Beast Snagga boys, get some battle line in, and I am going to take 20 of these boys, take a max size squad of them, and they're just going to march up the void with the beast boss. And to show you guys again, going all the way to the other side of the screen, you can see here are the options on the far right, so that way I can add how many people I want. And we're going to go all the way up to 19 Beast Boys. Slugga and Choppa. Boom. Alright, so we got, what are we at? We're at 270 points now. We've used up half on just one squad and the boss that goes with them. One thing I've always found in these is that I need some covering fire. So we are going to take, usually I take 2 mech guns, but the list is kind of tight. Let us grab some mech guns. We'll grab 1 for now and see if we have the points for more later. If we are going to have some goblins or some the orcs running forward, we could probably use some goblins to hold the backfield. What you guys think? Maybe earn us some command points. Do they still earn command points? I don't know. But we'll take just a standard 10-man squad of goblins for now. You break it again, breaking wah. I like that. That's my form of Breaking Bad. I'm breaking wah. I feel you need to paint up a Heisenberg orc now. Oh, the Heisenberg could be the apothecary. With his little bowler derby cap. Alright, what did I have, guys? What did I have? I've got 360 now. Okay, I've got some covering fire from 1 mech gun, which isn't a lot. I've got the Warhorde moving up. But does he have the cool hair squig? Well, probably not, because Heisenberg is bald. Unless he's got a hair squig to be that goatee that Heisenberg has. What else? What else should we put to 500 boy? We don't want to make this too tough of a list. Especially with the man's first game back in like a year, a year and a few months. We could, for the funsies, put in some more covering fire with some mech copters. Or we could do another mech gun. We could do the Squig Hog Boys. I like the Squig Hog Boys. But I feel like we should be well-rounded. What do you guys think? Should we get in some shots? Maybe put in some Ludas for some more covering fire? Ooh, could put in a Death Dread. Oh, you know what? I converted a bunch of Killicans last year. Or was it the year before? And I have not used them in a battle not one time. Three Killicans. And I'm going to pull this all the way over to the side again to show you guys that all 3 that I did have the rocket launcher. So we're going to shoot some rockets. 15 points now. What can I get for 15 points in an orc list? Is there anything I can take for 15 points in an orc list? Well, that is one of the benefits of having this on the side, where you can just scroll down the page and look at the values of everything on the list. So, I'm going to make this just a little easier for me to see. I've thrown off the zoom on my camera. I apologize. There we go. 15 points. Probably I just need to look to see if there's like something I can, what is it called, an upgrade I can put on my boss, my beast boss. 20 points for a Legends Big Guns. I don't even know what that is, but that sounds kind of cool. Nope, doesn't look like anything really to put on there. So let's look at some of the upgrades we could put on this beast boss. Oh yeah, we're going to click to make him our warlord. Click on enhancements. I'm going to pull over to the side again, guys, so you can see the enhancements I'm looking at. Okay, so for 15 points, we can't get Follow Me Lads. We can't get the Head Wappas Kill Choppa. We can get a Super Cyborg body, which will give us it'll let us, so we already have a 6-up Feel No Pain. This will have Feel No Pain 4+, which just sounds pretty good. Although, I mean, if I'm using that, that means somebody's gone through, either got a sniper or something or other, or gone through all 20 of my bodyguard. The other one is the Cunning But Brutal. Let's take a look, see what that one does. Orks models only. While the bear is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare charge when it fell back. Ooh, fall back and charge is pretty good. So that means even on your turn, you can still get to hit first. Alright, if anyone's still listening, I'd like to hear from the chat. Should we give Rex a 4+ invulnerable save to make him as tough as nails? Or should we let him back up and charge in again? I kind of like the idea of always getting in that, first attack. Just charge in, fight first, fight first, fight first. Also, it lets him change up targets too if he thinks somebody else needs to be punched in the face. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Let me know your vote in the chat, please. Are we looking at the Super Cyborg body and the 4+ Feel No Pain? Are we looking at Cunning But Brutal, so we can just smash heads turn after turn by being able to fall back and charge again? The shooting part, especially since I'm playing, melee oriented, most of my shots hit on a 5+, not really meaningful, but definitely I think the fall back and charge again is pretty useful. Smash and charge. Shamash, a shamash, shamash. I think we're going to go with Charles here. We're going to give him the Cunning But Brutal. Alright, chat. Thank you for helping me make this list 500 points on the nose. We've got a Beast Boss, 95 points. I'm going to be rocking the Snag-a-Claw with Anti-Monster, Anti-Vehicle 4+. The Beast Choppa, Anti-Monster, Anti-Vehicle 4+. I've got the Shooter that a Grot will be shooting to hit on a 4. I'll have a 6-up Feel No Pain. The Devastating Wounds will come on that Anti-Vehicle and Anti-Monster. And I'll be able to fall back and smash, which is going to be great. So, Becky, let me smash. This Beast Boss Rex will be leading 20 Beast Snagga Boys. He'll be leading 10 Gretchen and a Rent Herd. I'm sorry, the Rent Herd will be leading the 10 Gretchen. Not to confuse anyone. We're taking even more goblins because we're going to have Gretchen piloting 3 kilocans. And actually, this might be the most grot heavy list I've ever made. I've got 10 Gretchen, I've got 3 kilocans, and I got a mech gun. So, yeah, just literally one orc character and a squad of boys. A big squad of boys, but still. This will be interesting. I'm looking forward to this. There's something about orcs, man. Like, even when I'm losing, I'm still having a good time. They get into there, they do ludicrous stuff and smash stuff up. So, I'm looking forward to this, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, that brings us... Thank you guys for helping me work out my list. And that brings us to 10 o'clock. We've been here a couple hours together, and guys, I have really enjoyed my first night back hanging with you guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show, supporting the rebrand. It really means a lot to me that, I feel good about being able to do the rebrand and share. I want to continue to share my love for 40K, but even when I'm not feeling it, the fact that you're letting me include all of my other hobbies and just share the things that I'm liking and enjoying with you guys. Also, it's fun to learn that some of you guys had interest in Yu-Gi-Oh! Before, and you like Charles being super into it in the past. That's great to know. Get some rest, guys. Take care. You get some rest, sir. I know you work hard, and I appreciate you, my friend. Orc TV commercial, humans, the other white meat. Humans, the other white meat. Smash heads, hammer! I can't do that too many times. I don't want that guy coming after me for stealing his line. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. If you guys like tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an axe and smash that like button. In the name of the Emperor, drop me some comments down below, and feel free to be a part of any of tonight's ridiculous conversations. And let me know if you guys are interested in any things we talked about tonight, whether it's the orcs, whether it's the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, the Magic the Gathering stuff we talked about. Hey man, I'd just love to hear some discussion about the hobbies that I love. And if you guys have not yet subscribed to any of my friends down in the friends of the Wolf Brother down below. Actually, I haven't changed. The link yet, so it probably still says the Friends of the Frosted Fist. But like I said, the rebrand is a work in progress. Hey, lurking and painting minis. I hope you got a lot painted and accomplished tonight, brother. Yeah, but hey, Mini War Mutt, Gamers with Coffee, Hellworks by Hellchild. Even though he hasn't gotten a video up yet, he's coming. Charles Satora. Check out all of these amazing channels, and I'm looking forward to your deck review, my friend. Check out all the channels that support me because, like I said, I call the link the Friends of the Frosted Fist or Friends of the Wolf Brother, but it's just basically people I enjoy interacting with on my channel. Check out the link, yeah, check out these great people. Anyways, if you guys are not yet subscribed to them, we'd love to have you as part of the pack here on Wolfbrother Hobbies. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.